stop what you're doing right now and go watch the first slam dunk on Netflix or whatever other streaming service you can find it on, okay? If you like sports anime, go watch it. If you like shonen, go watch it. If you like basketball, go watch it. If you like films, go watch it, okay? I don't care what you're doing, just go watch the first slam dunk. Slam dunk is the daddy of all modern sports anime. Think of your favorite one right now. If it's Haikyuu, if it's Blue Lock, if it's Kuroko's, none of them exist without slam dunk. It's basically the sports manga equivalent of Dragon Ball. If you're a fan, then you know that the 90s anime never actually finished the story of slam dunk. They got to the last arc and then it stopped. And the last arc is by far the best arc in the series. And in my opinion, the peak of all sports anime and manga that I personally have ever read. But now, at long last, they finally adapted the last match, the peak of slam dunk, the peak of all sports manga, in this movie, The First Slam Dunk, which unfortunately was really hard to watch for a long time. But now you too can experience peak sports anime. Now you might be thinking, well, I'm not going to understand anything if I haven't watched the anime or read the manga. And yeah, there will be some things that you miss, some context that you miss, but the movie does a good job of giving you what you need to know to understand the flow of the match you're watching. Because at the end of the day, it's just basketball. The story also does a good job of creating a self-contained arc by making the main character one of the other players on Team Shohoku. The main character of the movie is Miyagi, not Sakuragi, and this works really well because we don't learn much about his backstory in the main series. By framing the story around him, they actually gave fans of the manga something interesting and new to make this movie worthwhile even if you already know the story. But they also made the story a lot more accessible for people who don't have any existing context about the series. For those people, it's just an underdog story where this short young Japanese basketball player finds himself at nationals and uses it as a way to exercise some of his old demons. It's actually genius how they were able to make this so well-rounded just by implementing one character's backstory. And I've seen people like Chris Stuckman, for example, who's a very well-known movie critic, who watched the movie without knowing anything about the anime and still loved it. But fine, maybe you're not sold. So why should you watch The First Slam Dunk? Let me tell you. Slam Dunk by Takehiko Inoue, who also made Vagabond and Real, two other excellent manga, has some of the best art that I have ever seen in a weekly manga. I cannot believe that some of these chapters were coming out on a weekly basis. On top of that, the way that this final match is paced, the twists and turns, the peaks of character development that have been built up for the course of the series. This final match took Hanamichi, who in my opinion is probably one of the most annoying main characters in any sports manga, from barely tolerable to a GOAT, a legend, a tensai. And it also has a ton of heart underneath, because underlying this storyline is a character who starts out in the series as this immature, arrogant young guy who has no direction, has no purpose, has no goals in life other than just impressing a girl, and who by the end becomes this still kind of arrogant but much more mature and driven person who has found purpose and meaning in something outside of himself. There's actually real meat on the bones of this story, but also it's so fucking hype. Please go watch it. So yeah, that's why you need to stop what you're doing right now and go watch The First Slam Dunk on Netflix or any other streaming service of your choice.